What would you like to hear the president say with respect to our national safety?
Well, number one, what we hear from the White House is that this is billed as some kind of victory lap of the president. If so, it ought to be the shortest State of the Union in history. I can assure you the American people are not feeling victorious in their homeland security, and they're not feeling victorious in their household finances. What do I want to hear from the president? The same thing that everybody else wants to hear, a plan to actually defeat ISIS. And it's clear to the American people they're not the JV team. They haven't been contained. We only have one commander-in-chief, such as he is. We need to hear a plan for victory. That's what we need to hear. Well, I think the public is a lot more concerned with ISIS control than they are gun control. If they really wanted to get serious,
right,
they ought to enforce some of the laws that we have on our books. What the president has proposed doesn't even solve the problem. The facts are these. Number one, since President Obama came to office, the average American family, their income is down. Their take-home pay is down. The average American family has less savings. The average American family, when it comes to health care under Obamacare, they're getting less and they're paying more. And they're very anxious. It's one of the reasons why people can continue to be pessimistic. We're engaged in the longest, slowest, tepid recovery in the post-war era. And had this followed simply the average of other recoveries, the average American family would have almost $11,000 more in income, and 12 million more people would be back to work.
Congressman,
it's Obamacare and it's Dodd-Frank that is slowing us down. It's the president's policies that are hurting working Americans. We need maximum opportunity, and everything the Democrats have done, from Obamacare to Dodd-Frank, has harmed opportunities. We have entrepreneurship at a generational low. We're not getting new business startups. Without new business startups, you're not getting the new job growth that you need to help American families grow their personal household economies. What we need to work on, again, is maximum opportunity, and that means fundamental tax reform. It means regulatory reform. It means building an economy from Main Street up, not from Washington down. We have an economy that's underperforming. We should have an economy, if it was just growing at the average pace of 3.5%, instead it's limping along at about 2%. I mean, that leads to misery in working people's lives. I mean, the economy still isn't working for millions of working Americans. The baseline you ought to be using is what a healthy economy looks like. Under Dodd-Frank, the big Wall Street banks are bigger, and our Main Street banks are fewer. We're losing a community financial institution a day, a credit union or a community bank, and they're dying of an unnatural death from the sheer weight, volume, complexity, cost of Dodd-Frank. And so this is completely opposite what Dodd-Frank promised. We still continue to have a Wall Street bailout fund funded by taxpayers that was written into law. What we've seen is free checking cut in half at banks for working families. We've seen bank fees go up. We have seen the ranks of the unbanked increase. We've seen fewer credit card offerings. We've seen perk programs go away. I mean, again, Dodd-Frank has not worked for working Americans, and so that's why the House Financial Services Committee in this Congress will put forth legislation to help working Americans that will functionally repeal and replace Dodd-Frank. That's something that will work for working Americans.
All right, Congressman, thank you so much. Appreciate you joining us this morning. Congressman Jeb Hensarling, the chairman of the House Financial